Ahoy, me buckos! This be Captain Slappy of International Talk Like a Pirate Day, and you're watching Pirates Parley. Arr.
Well, friends, it is once again International Talk Like a Pirate Day, and we'll be spending it with the only game I know of that actually gives you an in-game bonus for talking like a pirate. Despite what some snooty gamers may tell you, there's nothing wrong with a rollicking game of Fluxx. And it's a game that invites you to participate by making your own cards, and well, sir, that is exactly what we did. It's game invasion time, mateys! Pirate Fluxx, prepare to be boarded. First of all, I'll throw out a few specifics about our starting point. We've sleeved our copy of the game, which has evicted it from its retail packaging. And since we're adding print-and-play cards, it's nigh impossible to match the manufacturing of the main game, so sleeves are essential. We've also added in the Skullduggery promo card, which I must warn you doesn't work well in a sleeve if it's hot outside. It's printed in a way that gives it a tacky side, and it likes to stick to the sleeve, but it's worth it. Now, regarding our add-on cards, this is a fan-made endeavor, and there is no endorsement whatsoever from the Loonies. This is just what we like to do with our free time. Anyway, on to the cards. The first thing we were compelled to do is introduce some mini-games. Now I hear you say, why put a game inside of another game? Well, because we saw areas where they would complement the experience and allow you to play a bit more cutthroat. I'll admit that the pirate games we've added work better later in the game, because when there are more cards in play, more cards in your hand, and more cards in the discard pile, then you've just got more to work with. But we've had these cards come up early in the round, and they still worked out just fine. But ideally you should wait for the opportune moment to throw these babies down on the table. Remember that they're a work in progress, and as is often the case, there's a bit of honor system in play here, so be suspicious of anyone who spends too much time going through the discard pile. It's a party game after all, and you may not wish to play with those who are inclined to cheat, even if they are a fellow pirate. These pirate games are action cards, so play them as such. First up is Liar's Flux, and if you're familiar with Liar's Dice, then you already know what's coming. After playing this card, guess how many keepers are in everyone's hands. The minimum guess is 1, so try starting there. Then go round the table. Each player can increase the number or call you out by saying, liar. Once liar is called, reveal all hands and count the total keepers. If the number is equal or higher, the guesser was right and wins. If the total is lower, then they are in fact a dirty liar and the accuser wins. The loser shuffles the cards in their hand, and the winner draws random cards equal to the last guess. Meaning, if the last guess was 3, then draw 3 cards. Then resume your turn. Next up is Battle Fluxx, and you guessed it, it's normally played with ships. Pick a player and guess a card type. If they have one in their hand, it's a hit, and they must discard a card of that type, setting it aside into a new common pile. Guessable card types are Keeper, Action, Surprise, New Rule, or Goal. If they don't have a card of that type in their hand, it's a miss. Poor shooting, mate, and the guesser is out of the game. But they must show their hand to prove it, naturally. If a player loses their last card, they're also booted from the round. The last player standing collects the common pile and then adds them to their hand. Finally, there's the one we call Part of the Plan. When this card is played, pull out all the goal cards from the discard pile and shuffle them. Flip the first card and check the requirements. If any player has one or more of these keeper requirements, they flip one of them face down. If any player doesn't have any matching requirements, they must choose 2 other keepers to flip face down. Do this until only one player has face-up keepers remaining. You may have to reshuffle the goals on occasion to continue, so try to remember what's in there. The last player with one or more face-up keepers wins, and draws cards from the main deck as their reward. Draw as many as you have face-up keepers. If all the keepers in play are face down after resolving a goal card, no one wins. Then, discard the goals and return all keepers to their usual face-up condition. Now there's a limit of 1 pirate game action per turn. If you play more than that on a turn, they are discarded. But there's still a way to get your game on, because we've also included a keeper to help you to get the games you want when you need. Introducing Pirate Games, and it's a booty keeper at that. It can be discarded from play to play a pirate game from the discard pile, unless there isn't one, in which case dig one out of the main deck and then shuffle it afterwards. But if there still isn't one, that means your opponents are holding on to them. Keep your keeper for next time. It also moves in front of whoever wins a pirate game, so beware. In addition to the games, we've also added locations, which are new rule cards that function in the usual way, but you can only be in one place at a time. So if another location is played, the old one is discarded. That's how traveling works, mate. First stop is a pirate festival, and if you've ever been to one, you know there's no limits. At least until the cops show up. When this location is played, discard any limit cards that are in play. And if anyone plays a new one, it goes straight to the trash. Next stop on our pub crawl is to the Tiki Bar. This place is essentially the goal mill. Discard any number of goal cards from your hand to draw that many cards from the main deck, which is basically the same, except a Tiki Bar makes cocktails. So it's more like a blender than a mill. Finally, we're home sweet home again in the good old Jolly Bottom pub. And when someone wins a pirate game here, they can discard any card in play or from their hand. Is there a keeper, a new rule card that be giving you trouble? A flintlock? The captain's hat? Cutlass plunder? Perhaps a limit card on the table or in your hand? Well, win the game and give that big bad card the old heave-ho. Now, to help you get where you want to go, here's another keeper. Our mighty pirate vessel, the 10-foot turtle. Discard it from play for a free ride to any location you find in the discard or the main deck. This time you can search both for the one you want. Again, if there's none to be found, the discard is cancelled. Just save the card for next time. And it's a shipkeeper, so it may even help you to meet a goal. And there's one final card we threw in there. Yours truly. Here to give you a helping hand. Aye, good old Captain Shinbones and the ever-lovely Bonnie Buttlescotch. And here's what we'll do for you. If you're a manly pirate, you may play an extra card on your turn to get the job done. And if you're more ladylike, then the payoff will be drawing an extra card per turn because girls like stuff. Either way, you get more out of your play. And that's our pirate gaming invasion. If you have a game you think we should invade, comment with it below. And now for a few quick announcements. Our new website has launched. Hit the link and come aboard. Because if you haven't been to piratesparlaygaming.com lately, you haven't been to piratesparlaygaming.com. It's got everything all in one place. The episodes, the Patreon page, even some slick new merch. We now have bronze Pirates Parlay pins in stock. And you can order one today. Hit up the new site and get your hat a fashionable upgrade. Plus, Christmas is just around the corner. If you're a scallywag who can't get enough of tabletop gamings, we think you should proudly tell the world. And lastly, the Millennium Fandom Bar in downtown Las Vegas is having an international Talk Like a Pirate Day bash tonight. And the crew and I will be there, co-hosting Trivia Night. Think you know about pirates? Well, prove it, and win you and your mates a pitcher of beer. And there's some other categories too, like Deadpool, Pokemon. But come on, we know what you like. Okay, probably all three. We hope you have a great Talk Like a Pirate Day. Celebrate accordingly, and by the powers, get your briny breeches on the account, and make with the poxy parlance, you scurvy sea dogs. Yarr.